A very good morning, dear students. In last video we discussed testing of DC motor. In that we discussed the types of testing, that is direct method of testing and indirect method of testing. Direct method of testing we discussed that brake test or load test, and even we discussed two more tests on indirect method of testing, that is Swinburne test and Hopkinson test. In this video we discussed uh, some more test on indirect method of testing, so that is retardation test, or it is also called as running down test, and the field test. So let me discuss retardation test or running down test on DC motor. So this test usually employ for the DC shunt generator and DC shunt motors. From this method we can determine stray losses. If we know the armature and shunt copper loss at any given load current, so then easily we can determine the efficiency of that particular machine. Now here the motor which is under test, so this is the separately excited DC motor whose field winding is separately excited by the DC source, and the armature winding of the motor, it is coupled with the DC supply, and the voltmeter it is connected, which measures the back EMF of the DC motor. The machine whose test is to be carried out, which can be run at a speed which is slightly above its normal speed. Now, under this condition, the supplies of the motor is to be cut off while the field is kept excited. That means, so here we just cut off the supply to the armature winding, then field winding it go on excited with the separate DC source. So in that case what happen, so the armature consequently slow down, and its kinetic energy is used in supplying the rotational or stray losses, which include iron, friction and windage losses. You know, if any one of the supply is disconnected by the motor, so what happens, the motor slow downs and it stops. So in this case what happens, what we'll do, so just the field winding of the motor is kept excited and the armature winding of the motor supply is disconnected. In that case what happens, the motor slow downs and its kinetic energy is used in supplying the rotational or stray losses in that case. So stray loss, even it include the iron, friction and windage losses. So that stray loss we have to determine here. Now here we can know the certain terms, that is, if I is the amount of inertia of the armature and omega be the angular velocity, and the kinetic energy of the armature we can represent it as a 0.5 I omega square. So this is nothing but, you know, the kinetic energy, how we can represent the kinetic energy of the motor, how we can represent the kinetic energy of the motor. This is half mv square, isn't it? You can represent like this kinetic energy of the any that rotating body, how we can represent 0.5 itself, it represent that this is the half, I itself it represent the that inertia which is stored in the armature, and omega it represent the what, the angular velocity. So finally we can represent the kinetic energy of the armature as it is half I omega square. Then rotational losses, we can represent it as the rate of change of kinetic energy. So the rate of change of kinetic energy we can represent like this, that is d by dt into w be the rotational losses, or you can say that the its kinetic energy, that is the kinetic energy is what, half I omega square. You can substitute in that, so then you will get the I omega d omega divided by dt. Now you know omega, the value of the omega, so you know the value of the omega is 2 pi n divided by 60. You substitute in place of omega, so that is 2 pi n divided by 60. If you substitute the value of omega, that is 2 pi divided by 2 pi n divided by 60, then solve that equation, then you can get that w is equals to, that is the rotational uh, loss is equals to 2 pi divided by 60 its whole square I n dn divided by dt. So here we have to determine the two terms. So one term is what, the rate of change of the speed. Why I have written the rate of change of speed here? Because you know very well that, so that is the omega, so that is nothing but it is proportional to what, the speed n. So in place of d omega divided by dt, so in that the place of omega we can represent it as a what, dn divided by dt. So finally we can get so this expression. So this represent the rotational losses. So in this equation we have to represent, you have to determine the rate of change of speed and as well as the moment of inertia we have to determine. So first determination of the rate of change of speed. So how we can represent that the rate of change of speed? So we have to take the two relationship here. So what are those relationship we have to take? So if you if you remove any one supply, if you suppose if you remove the armature winding supply, so the motor it slow downs and it stops. So during the slowdown of the motor, so you just go on note down the back EMF of the motor and the time which is to be taken to stop the armature. So that is to be measured. So how to measure the back EMF? You know, if you measure the back EMF, that is back EMF, it is proportional to speed. So then you can relate that speed with the what, the relation, so that is time. So that is given here. The voltmeter V1 which is connected across the armature. So here where you can represent, so just this is the voltmeter, it is connected across the armature, it represents the back EMF. If the supply is disconnected, so motor slow downs, so that means so the back EMF is to be measured. So this back EMF it is proportional to what, the speed. So then indirectly you can measure the what, speed of the motor. Then for every step, so you have to note down the what, the time. During the slowdown you have to note down the time. So then this relation, that is the speed and time, that relation you just plotted graphically, then you will get the curve like this. You will get the curve like this. Like this curve you can get. So in this curve you just draw, there is a corresponding line. So that is the tangent for the curve, so which cut both the axes, so that is x and y axis, so that is represented by speed and time. So the point C, so so that represent the tangent. So now you can determine the rate of change of the speed. So that is the ratio of that is O to A, that is in RPM, and to the O to B, that is in second. So this gives the rate of change of speed, that is dN divided by dt. Next case, determination of moment of inertia. Now the moment of inertia can be determined. So here we apply the two methods. So method is using a flywheel. Now what do you mean by the flywheel? A flywheel is a mechanical device specially designed to efficiently store rotational energy. So this is a rotating mechanical device, just like a rotor. So that is coupled with the shaft of the armature. So in that case, the rotational losses, what we consider, so that rotational losses will be same if you use the flywheel with the shaft, or if you remove the flywheel with the shaft. So in that case, the losses will be same, but the speed will change obviously. So that we can represent the rate of change of speed. So here we can get the 2 case speed. So if we use the flywheel, in that case will represent the speed as a what? The rate of change of speed, that is dN divided by dt2. So this speed we can get. So without flywheel, so we can represent that speed as a what? dN divided by dt1. Now in the first case, where flywheel is not then there, so in that case, so we can represent the rotational losses, that is W is equals to 2 pi divided by 60 its whole square dN divided by dt1. So if the flywheel is used, so in that case, so we can represent the adding the flywheel to the motor armature. In second case, that is I1 plus I2 is to be added here. That is, just glance the equation. So in this equation, in place of I, so here, so the I1 plus I2 is to be written. That is, I1 is added with the I. So now the in both the case the rotational losses are equal. So since, so just equate these two equations. So that is, you will get like this. So in this equation, you just remove the your inertia, that is moment of inertia. Then finally you will get the equation, that is I is equals to I1 into bracket T1 divided by T2 minus T1. You just try this equation, then you will get this equation. So this is the moment of inertia. So by adding the what? Flywheel. So now if without flywheel, if the flywheel is not used, in that case the inertia is eliminated here. How the inertia will be eliminated? So if the flywheel is not added, so we can get here two rotational losses. So one rotational losses is what? This is in generally that is W is equals to 2 pi divided by 60 square In dN divided by dt1. So here there is one more the rotational loss, it is added with this. So this is the second case, that is W dash is the new rotational loss which is added with the existing rotational loss, that is W plus W dash. Then we will get the equation what? This one. So again here you can observe the two change in the speed, that is one is the dN divided by dt1, another one is the dN divided by dt2. Now if you take the ratio of that W plus W dash divided by the W, if you take this ratio and solve for the what? W, that will get the rotational loss if the flywheel is not added. If the flywheel is added, then we can calculate the that moment of inertia. So in that case, the rotational losses are what? It is eliminated. So if the flywheel is not added, in that case the moment of inertia is eliminated, then the rotational losses are calculated here. Now this is about the retardation or running down test. Now let me move towards the one more test of that indirect method of testing, that is field test. So in case of field test, so this can be employed for the DC series motor. So unlike shunt motors, the series motor cannot be tested by the method which area available for shunt motors, as it is impossible to run the motor on no load. You know, series motor which cannot run no load condition. So since so here the two machines are considered, both are series machines. So that is one machine, it is coupled with another machine. Here whatever our motor which is under test, so this is our motor which is under test, so that is coupled with the another motor. In this case this motor act as an generator, and this is what your motor which is under test. And you know, this is a series motor, the field winding it is in series with the motor, and there is one more series field winding, this is connected in series with the series motor. So this field winding which gives the excitation, the excitation to the generator, this is a separately excited DC generator. Now so here what method is to be followed? So here the one machine is made to run as a motor while the other as a generator, which is separately excited. The field of the two machines are connected in series so that both the machines are equally excited. Why these two motors series field windings are connected in series fashion? Because both the motors are excited equally. So this will make iron losses same for the two machines. The two machines are running at the same speed. The generator output is given to the variable resistance, that is R. You know, the main objective of this field test, that so here which is employed for the only DC series motor. If the series motor is to be considered, you know, series motor cannot run under no load condition. So since this motor it is coupled with another motor, in that case that second motor it act as a generator, and both the motor series field winding which is connected in series in order to excite both the motor equally. So this is the main objective of the field test. The resistance R is changed until the current taken by the motor reaches the full load value. So this will be indicated by the ammeter A1. The other reading of the different meters are then recorded here. You know, V is the supply voltage, then I1 be the current by the motor, then I2 is the load current, or it is also called as the current which is produced by the generator, and V2 be the terminal voltage of the generator. You know, RA, RSC be the armature and series field resistance of the each machine. Now you know, the power which is taken from the supply, so that is given by the product of voltage and the supply current. Supply current itself is the water, this is the current through the motor, so that is the I1. So this product gives the power taken from the supply. Then output obtained from the generator, you know, output obtained from the generator, it is the product of the generator terminal voltage, that is V2, and generator current, that is I2. Then total losses in both the machine, the total losses in the both the machine. So here we can represent that, so that is the difference between the input power to the output power. You know, the total losses itself we can represent it as a what difference between input power and output power. Input power to this is what V into I1, then output power to the generator, that is V2 into I2, then this gives the total losses, that is WT. Then armature copper and field losses. So what is armature copper and field losses? That is represented by WCU, that is equals to, so here I1 square into RA is the armature copper loss for the motor, I2 square into RA is the armature copper loss for the generator. Then I1 square into RSC, that is the 2 times I1 square into RSC, which represents the both field winding losses, that is your series field winding of the motor as well as the series field winding of the generator. So since that is multiplied by the twice of the I1 square into RSC, then the final stray losses is given as, that is the difference between that total losses and the armature copper loss, that is WT minus WCU. Then stray loss per machine, it is given as the half of the each machine, that is stray losses per machine is equals to WS is equals to WT minus WCU divided by 2. Stray losses are equally divided between the machine because of their equal excitation and speed. You know, initially you just told that the equal excitation is given to the machine, so that means stray losses are what equally divided. Since the stray losses are taken as what the half of the what the total loss. Now, how the efficiency are calculated here? So let us consider the motor efficiency. Motor efficiency, how to calculate? First we have to represent the motor input. So motor input is the product of motors, that input voltage and input current, that is V1 into I1. Then motor losses, so here all the three losses are considered: armature copper loss, field copper loss and stray losses. Again the armature copper loss is I1 square into RA, that is the field copper loss is I1 square into RSC, because here series motor, the I1 current which flows through the both the winding, armature winding as well as the series field winding, and the stray losses which is determined by the term, that is W suffix S. Then these motor losses are, say that, W suffix M. Then finally the motor efficiency, which is represented as, that is output power to the input power. Now output power we can represent like this, so that is it is the difference between the input power to the total motor losses. So that is V1 I1 minus W1 divided by, that is input power is V1 into I1. Now this is about the motor efficiency. Now let me calculate the generator efficiency. Then how to calculate the generator efficiency? The generator efficiency will be of little use because it is running under abnormal condition of separate excitation. However, the efficiency under these unusual conditions can be found if desired. Now generator output, it is given as the product of V2 into I2. You know, the generator field copper loss is the I1 square into RSC. So because the whatever the this generator field, it is in series with the series motor, so since whatever the current which is flowing through the motor, so that is series field winding of the motor, so the same current which is flowing through the field winding of the generator. Since the field copper loss of the generator, it is given by I1 square into RSC, Then armature copper loss of the generator, it is given as I2 square into Ra, because I2 current which flows through the generator armature. Then stray loss, which is denoted as W suffix S. Then total losses are the combination of these losses, that is the field copper loss of the generator, then armature copper loss of the generator, then stray loss of the generator. Then finally these all total losses can be represented as W suffix G. Then the generator efficiency can be represented as the generator output divided by generator input. So generator output, so that we determined here, that is V2 into I2, and generator input, it is represented as the combination or summation of the output and the generator losses. Then we can represent, that is V2 I2 plus W suffix G. Then finally generator efficiency can be represented as, that is V2 I2 divided by V2 I2 plus WG. So this is the generator efficiency, so that we can determine by the field test. So this is about the field test. So in next video we'll come up with the numericals on testing on DC motors. Until then, be safe, stay at home. Thank you.